A calling never contradicts God's word. Your calling never contradicts the word of God. It never pulls you away from God. You can read later 2 Corinthians 10, verse 4 to 6, but that's the first thing you need to understand. Your calling, number two, your calling is always accompanied with peace. Did we write that? Your calling is accompanied with peace. If you're not sure with those 2 points, your calling can be confirmed from other people. From people, from things around you, from nature, from situations. In bracket, there is no atom of confusion, truthfully. Then number four, your calling would always end up glorifying God. There is nothing you do that won't glorify God. So now, why do we need to explore our passion? Firstly, we have to fulfill God's purpose and plan for our lives. You have to help each other. We have to help each other to build God's kingdom. And you have to fulfill what you yourself are called for. So now back to our first task that we did at the beginning, what your passion is. The passion you wrote back like 20 minutes ago, is it still the same passion after learning that we just learned? Do you think that's your passion? Your answers are not bold enough.
Yes.
Okay, so who's going to answer why you think it's still your passion? Can someone please give the mic to Rini?
It validates all there are 4 points you give.
Okay,
You said earlier.
okay, thank you. Please, one more person. That beautiful lady sitting down beside me.
I think my calling, just it's everything you said. Well, never contradict God's word, confirmed by people, and glorifies God, and it doesn't come with confusion.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can someone now tell me, the last person, what your passion is? Where's Kamsi? Sorry, please, is Kamsi there? Can kindly give Kamsi the mic. Kamsi, what's your passion?
I'm sorry,
Please, what's your passion?
passion.
It's okay to be in the process of finding your passion. That's why we talked about this. So you can say that.
Process of finding.
Please, let's clap for Kamsi. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys being so thoughtful and following with me. I'm going to give Dr. Fumi the mic so she can talk about her topic. Thank you guys so much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I just wanted to say, since Pastor Bila is not here today, I would also like to thank her for the opportunity as well. And thank you, Dr. Ayo, because you have basically, paved the way. My topic for today is financial responsibility and opportunities for students. This is a topic that has become very dear to my heart ever since I completed my medical university studies. And I came to realize it's a very broad world out there. that we generally don't know much about. And it's unfortunate, but also fortunate that we find ourselves in um, a space where we are all medical. uh, well, I would say some people in other universities, but the way the universities are set up in this part of the world is you only get to stay in one department. So everyone you know, basically, that or you hang around with are basically people who are experts in the same thing that you are expert in education wise. So it doesn't give us that kind of opportunity that you would sometimes have in places like Nigeria. When I was in Nigeria before I came here, I experienced the university life for a time, and I thank God for that opportunity because I was able to see a world out there and meet different people in different departments, get to have more conversations that is outside of what I was studying. So I just really would love for everyone to have an open mind as we talk about this topic. So first of all, when we talk about financial responsibility, what comes to your mind? I believe it's a word that speaks for itself, but I would like to know what like you think. Anyone? I just need two people.
Hi everyone. Financial responsibility, being responsible for your finances, responsible how you spend, what you spend on,
Mhm,
why am I spending, what are the is this a need, is this a want,
mhm.
something like that.
Yes. Thank you. Who else has anything to say?
Yeah, financial responsibility is taking responsibility of your finances. Okay, I'm just kidding. Financial responsibility is being independent, not independent totally, but you have a kind of independence for yourself. Like you
Mhm.
can take care of yourself, at least at a basic level. You could pay your house rent, you could feed, and as time goes on, you can add on to the equation. But basically, being independent to be able to take care of yourself and your needs.
Thank you. That's actually very good. These are two good answers. Um, Regarding what I had to say here is that financial responsibility in the world of students does not give you the opportunity to be as independent because you are still, or we are still, depending on our parents, and some of us who already have found our passion, who or things that we think or things that we're good at, you know, and we are able to invest our time in that, and it's able to provide us the opportunity to earn along the way. So what I had to say here is that it equips, it's a knowledge, it's a way of us as students to be able to be equipped with the skills, the the knowledge, all the things that is needed regarding building a financial life, because it's a different, just as medicine is a different part, finances is also a different part. And if we're not careful, we can go through the university, depending on what you're studying, and not know anything about how to be financially responsible. So it is a very important thing for us as students, and there are a lot of adults in this day and age that struggle with being responsible. It's easy nowadays to make money, but the more harder thing is how to be responsible with your finances. So that is what I'm here to talk about, and also talk about opportunities that we as students have. First of all, regarding opportunities, I remember there was a time when I was in school. I would speak with people at home, just ask, just on the call, and they're asking, "Oh, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm studying." You know, why are you not working? There's no opportunity. We are not allowed to work and all of that. And for some reason, over the years, that's what most of us have thought. We don't see that there is any opportunity out here for us. We just believe that, okay, next month I'm waiting for my rent, my parents will send me this and that. And then some people even struggle with how to spend the money their parents send to them. Before the month end, they're already broke or they're in debt and all of that. So, regarding the opportunities that we have in this country, I would like to pay our attention to something that Dr. Ayo already talked about. When we are talking about having like passion for something, we can build up our interest in such a way that we invest our time, we grow in that thing that we know that we are good at, and then figure out ways that we can monetize it for ourselves. For example, if we have some great minds in our midst, and we have people who have been able to, make good use of, would I say talents, their talents, or what they are good at, and they can say for a fact that they are earning from that. So it doesn't mean that they have two heads or they have like talent and you don't. The most important thing is personally developing the passion or the talent that you have. What are you good at? So Dr. Ayo talked about knowing thyself. but okay, so Dr. Ayo talked about this earlier, knowing thyself. And when we are talking about being financially responsible, first you need to personally develop yourself to some extent where you can know what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are. Some people who are really massively rich don't know how to take care of their finances. They have to maybe hire financial, uh, you know, advisors and all of that. So if you have the opportunity now, because this time that we have is like, trust me, God bless you with this time for a reason. And if you're using it to play games, going to nightclubs or going to wherever, I'm not talking about us, I'm just saying overall in the university world, that is how, people waste a lot of time when they are supposed to be developing themselves personally. So when we are able to develop ourselves in such a way that we are sure about what we can do and what we can do, and then invest our time in things that we can do. When you invest your time in your strengths, it's able to yield results and you're able to earn from that. And I would like to say this, that us as individuals, we have creative sides. Everybody have creative sides. Some people are good with singing, some people are good with anything, like any creativity you can ever think of. In fact, if you think you don't have a talent, go and watch Guinness Book of Records. Then you will realize that some things you think that is nothing is actually something. The most important thing is just you knowing yourself to that point, and then pouring your effort in that thing that you're good at. Build up on it. So whatever God has deposited in us has to be built. It needs to grow. It could be in the baby level where it's, can't yield any result. But the more time you put into building that, the more opportunities would open up for you in that aspect. So I have one saying that I always say, I say, let opportunity meet you prepared. That is a very big word. Um, Sometimes we don't know what is out there for us, but we are preparing. This is a phase of our lives where we are able to prepare. Ask the Holy Spirit if you don't know. There is nothing that is too, too big to ask God. He even said, if you lack wisdom, ask Him. Before I graduated, I didn't know anything about, the opportunities that were out there for us. In fact, when people would ask me, I'll be like, I don't know what I'm over here doing. And I remember 3 years before I graduated, someone else was graduating that time, and I was asking the person, what are you like doing after? She said she doesn't know. And then in my mind I was like, but you had 6 years to think about this. But it quickly dawned on me while I was graduating how the real life, is. It's different from, oh, I plan on doing this and that. You can talk about your dreams and, all you want. But it's what you are able to actually accomplish, that what God wills for your life is what you will eventually accomplish. And so I want us to work closely with God when we are talking about finances. Money and, money and God cannot be separate. If we are talking about we want to be responsible for something, anything at all, you need to always put God first, because it's very easy to miss it when you don't involve God in anything you're doing. Um, Regarding financial responsibility, there are a lot of steps that can be taken if we're talking about, okay, I have a problem and I want to fix it. For example, perhaps your parents send you money every month, and everybody have different parents. Everybody have different budgets. Your parents can be sending you $50. Another person's parent can be sending them $500 for a month. But the person who is even being sent the $50 is still able to manage themselves enough for that month. So what can you do? What are the steps that can be made in such a way that what you have is enough for you and also enough for a rainy day? I would say first, budget. Budgeting is a very good step when we talk about financial responsibility. Budgeting, I'm sure everybody knows what budgeting means. And I would say write it down. I am a very, I don't know, maybe everybody likes writing things down, but I really love to write things down. So if I'm thinking about something for next month, I would prefer to write it down rather than putting it on my phone or leaving it in my head where I know it's not going to be safe. So write, if you're expecting $50 next month, and $50 you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your everything. Write it down. This is what this is going. This is what I'm going to give God. This is what I'm going to give out. This is what I'm paying. This is what I'm keeping. So when you write something down, there is this, even the Bible says write your vision down. It did not say keep it in your head. There is a reason why you write something down and it can stick. The plan can work in that way, because when you write it, I don't know, it's something that has to do with the brain, because once you write it down, it's not just sitting in there and you're not thinking about it. This is not already becoming a plan. And when you realize that the next month comes, you try to be disciplined enough to follow that. Now it will take some time, just a few months, a few years, but you would get there. So give yourself that grace and, you know, just allow yourself to grow in that aspect. So the second step I would say is keeping yourself out of debt. Now, some people like to borrow. Some people don't like to borrow. Everybody have the reasons why, they borrow money, and everybody have what happens in that aspect. But try as much as possible, even if you borrow, know how you're going to pay back. already have a plan. The biggest thing that makes people like, lose money is making bad financial decisions, like spending on random things that are not exactly necessary. So a good step to help in that aspect is writing your wants and your needs in two different parts. What exactly is this a want or is it a need? There's even a method that people now use in this aspect that if you want something, allow 24 hours to pass or at least allow a full month to pass. If after that month passes you still want that thing, then you know, okay, this is definitely something that is necessary, and then you can go for it. So in that way, you can keep yourself out of unnecessary buying, spending. Something is on sale does not mean you need it. There's something is on it's 50% discount. That's why I bought it. You realize 2 minutes later, I actually don't need this thing. No, I'm just buying it because it's on sale. So try as much as possible to lessen the unnecessary spending as a student. You might not understand it now because you're not the one working for the money. Perhaps your parents are, every month you're sure of getting cashing out, so to say. So try to be more disciplined in your spending as a student. You can save. There can be that opportunity that you graduate with a whole saving plan. You already know what you want to do. You have that. So personally developing yourself also means that you can develop your discipline, like you can discipline yourself and know the things that can work for you. So if you have a plan for the future, you can save towards it. A lot of people don't know what they plan on doing after graduation. Some have plans, but there is no money for that. Some of us have 4 years to spend in Belarus, some have 6 years. If you save $1 every day, just $1 as an example, towards your graduation, you would have a substantial amount of money, and that is just with $1. So imagine what you can do if you actually can discipline yourself enough to save, and in that aspect. After savings, first I said budgeting. Then second, try to keep yourself out of debt. The third is saving, trying to save your money. Saving in these aspects can give you a few like tricks. A lot of people have different, ways that they save, and some have chosen to do the 40 by 40, 50 by 30. Me personally, what I do is I do 75. So it's 100%, but 75% out of whatever it is you're getting in every month, you're able to use it for your living expenses, anything at all, including your needs, your wants, everything. Take 75% out of that and use it. Give yourself that opportunity to spend only that. And then for the remaining of that, 15% goes towards investing in something. Now, investments as a student in Belarus, it might be tricky, but it's very possible. I was speaking with a friend recently, and she was telling me how she has planned to, invest in a land in Nigeria. I'm like, you're a student, right? She said yes, but she wants to be able to like graduate and have a land in her name. And I was like, wow, that is like you've gotten to a another level of self, reflection to understand that your parents cannot be the only, that you can't just rely on your parents for everything. There is a life after school, and you will have that life. So whatever decision you're making right now, whatever things you're learning right now, whatever anything you do right now with your time, is going to tell after school. Now, one very important thing I would like to say also goes hand in hand with financial responsibility and opportunities is investing in quality relationships. We have like an amazing family here, and honestly, I'm really grateful to God for bringing us all together. This is the time where we can invest our time, we can invest ourselves in ourselves amongst each other. So one thing I realized is that Nigerians can be very closed when it comes to providing information. And if we can try as much as possible to be generous in that aspect, what you know does not have to stay with you. Be open, or have that like give that opportunity out there for people to also know what you know, because you also can provide another thing that you like, another information out there for people. If we are able to share amongst ourselves what we know, the sky is just the starting point after graduation, because knowing something and not hoarding that information for yourself, like say for example, May has like a hair making business or something like that, and someone comes up to her and, May, can you teach me how to make hair? Don't say, she wants to take my business away from me or something like that. Be open, or even you could reach out to someone younger in a younger year and be like, oh, have you thought of, you know, trying to learn a skill? The world is so large out there that when you graduate, you quickly realize that like you did yourself a disservice in the medical school if you did not learn, if the only thing you knew is medicine. So always learn. Dr. Ayo said something earlier, and I would like to reiterate it. Learn, relearn, and unlearn. There is a lot of opportunities for your brain right now to unlearn things. You see, when you get to a certain age, it's 10 times more difficult to unlearn. But you just have to keep learning. Learning never stops. So if there is something that you know in your mind that you want to know, no question is stupid. Nobody is too small or too big, to learn from. So always be open to knowing yourself to that point where you are honest and I don't know this thing. I want to know it. Can you teach me? Be humble enough to accept the fact that you might not know something and you want to know it. Responsibility. Me personally, I struggled with being responsible with finances after graduation, and it is in the sense that I always thought I had it figured out, but then I started to work, and then I realized there's a whole different world entirely when it comes to being responsible with your finances while working, unlike being responsible with your finances when you're collecting from someone else. So it took me a while, but I was able to get there. I thank God for that. Because some people, it takes them even longer to be able to learn in that aspect. So I would just say try as much as possible to be humble enough when you don't know, and hang around people who know. Ask questions. How can I be better in this? I have this problem. You can do therapy. Therapy is not a bad thing. A lot of people, pay money for that. You can also be a good listener as a doctor. You can be a therapist. Whatever it is that you know you're good at. Philip said something earlier about holding a pen and all of that, like being a good surgeon afterwards. It's actually a good thing because you know yourself already to know that wow, this is something I'm good at. I want to, practice more. I want to use this to my advantage. And um, one thing I would say about financial responsibility again before I move to opportunities is that you need to ask God, or I would say not ask God, I would say surrender yourself to God. And surrendering yourself means surrendering everything, including your finances. I said first, put God first, and the Holy Spirit would actually guide you through how to, spend. And it's very good because the Holy Spirit can also help you to be generous to people. If you are just being generous without the guidance of the Holy Spirit, then you might go bankrupt before you know it. So always surrender everything regarding your finances to God because He can lead you. There is no doubt in that aspect. He would lead you through how you spend. So regarding opportunities, I'll just quickly round that up. There is a lot of opportunities out there for us as students, and I would say, in the aspect of you personally wanting to, grow your brand, like if you want to be an entrepreneur, Dr. Ayo here was like an entrepreneur throughout medical school. She was like, when you say jack of all trades, she was she was the jack of all trades. And she actually made it through medical school and it did not affect her studies at all. So it's not impossible to have like skills and use them to your advantage through medical school. If you know you're good at like with maybe hair making, or if you know you're good with cooking, try and become better or try and grow in that aspect. You can know how to do so many things. If it's makeup, it's not just women that can do this. Men too, can make hair. Men can like skills. Like learning skill is the most important thing that you can do for yourself as a student, and this would go beyond like life after medical school. It will help you so much, whatever it is. Like nothing is too like silly to learn. Everything is important. Even talking, it's a skill. Public speaking becomes like something that people will pay you for. Presidents will call you, kings will call. So it is very important that we pay very rapt attention to developing ourselves, especially now that we are students. Um, you can even work here in medical in Grodno, with all these restaurants, all these like places if you choose to. But one thing I would say is that ask questions. Always learn to ask questions. I remember when I graduated, I didn't know anything. I was just asking questions generally, and I never really said this out here in church. But I would like to thank God for Sister Jane. Like she actually really helped me a lot when it came to just understanding life, especially in the world of like working remotely. And it really helped me at least jumpstart that process. So working on like creating CVs, those things are things that you can even do for yourself. Canva is there. If you have that opportunity and the time now to start learning all these little skills, like you call it, when you grow in it, you can start earning money and you earn it for yourself, no one else. What your skill bring to you is for you. That's it. Like you're not, nobody else is taking it away from you. And there is, when it comes to skill, there is the hard set of skills and then there is the soft set of skills. The hard skill is what you're learning now as a student. But you see, that soft skill, trust me, no one can teach you. They won't teach you in school. So if you can, as a student now, try and pay attention to how you can build yourself up in the soft skill level while learning the hard skill in school. The soft skills could be, there are a lot of things that you call the soft skill, like time management is a soft skill. You have a problem with coming late, like do you have like an issue, do you always use the African time? How can you help yourself in that aspect? What can you do? Critical thinking, can you solve problems? When problems arise, do you run away from them, or do you just reach them and work on them heads on? So there's just a lot. I feel like this topic is a very broad topic, two separate aspects, but I hope that to some extent I have been able to help to break it down a bit.
Hello, everybody again.
Hello.
Hope we're not tired. I'll
No.
try to be brief as I can be. My topic is entrepreneurship, and this is not something that we're new to. It's not something that's foreign to us. We've heard it already from the two beautiful ladies that have just spoken, and they've said so much. So before we get into this, um, how many times have we seen something or a problem and you thought, oh, I could fix this? Like maybe something happened to you. Sorry. Something happened to you and we're just like, if only there was this. Or if maybe you were hungry and you're like, if only somebody was selling food on Infodesk. How many times have we thought that? Just raise your hand. Okay. So entrepreneurship basically is seeing a problem and fixing it. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're a problem fixer or a problem solver. So an entrepreneur is somebody that sets up a business or businesses and takes on financial risks in the hope of a profit. Now, we might hear stuff like, um, I don't think I can be an entrepreneur, or I think I'll be a bad entrepreneur. Personally, I don't think there's something like that because to be an entrepreneur is not, some people are born with it, yes, but there's steps you can take to make sure that you are a perfect entrepreneur or a good entrepreneur. And we're going to be speaking about all of that in a little bit. So, as an entrepreneur, where other people see problems, you see an opportunity. So, where other people see that, oh, this place is too hot, you're seeing, I could come up with a fan. I could sell a fan to these people. I could do this. I could start selling food on Infodesk. Entrepreneurship is not, sometimes, yeah, when we, people that do small businesses, we don't like to label ourselves as entrepreneurship, as entrepreneurs, sorry. But that's really what it is. That is what it is. You that sell food on Infodesk, the person that is selling houses, you people are doing the same thing, just on different scales. Now, some people might choose to start small, but that doesn't mean you should limit yourself to starting small. If you have the resources, if you have the opportunity, start big. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit your mind. As Ayobami already spoke, Dr. Ayo, sorry. um, for some people, they start from their passions. So you have realized that your passion is acting. You can make a profit from acting. You have realized that your passion is singing. You can make money from singing. You can go for shows and get paid good money. So your passions can be a door for you to be an entrepreneur, but that doesn't limit it.
Don't limit it on, okay, I don't, there's nothing I can do. For some of us, we're still finding what our passions are. So don't limit yourself to, oh, I don't think there's anything that I'm good at. So I don't think I can be an entrepreneur. No. You find something, you find something that needs fixing. Sometimes there are things that need fixing, but nobody knows until you bring it to the attention of everybody. So maybe, um, for example, we're so used to working on, let me use grass for example. Let's say there's no paved road. We're so used to walking on the grass. If you bring it to the attention of everybody that, oh, it would be so convenient for everybody to walk on a paved road. Do you know you have just identified the problem and made brought a solution as well? And if you do that, you get paid for it and you do it consistently. That makes you an entrepreneur. So we're going to talk about things that as an entrepreneur you should make sure you're doing. So I think the first thing for every to achieve anything at all, you have to know what exactly you want to do. Like Courage said some minutes ago, that you can't just flap your wings everywhere and see which one fits. Know what you want to do, sit down, think about it. Okay, I've seen this problem. How can I fix it? What should I do about it? And then when you realize that problem and you have thought about the solution, starting most times is not the issue for most of us. But consistency is where we lack. You have to be consistent. You have to show up every day. You have to continuously do this thing. Now, for some people, because we struggle with that, you can set goals. You can set a big goal where you're like, okay, this small chops of mine that I'm making, this is where I want to see myself. This is where I want to take it to. This is how big I want it to become. Don't 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 limit yourself. Open your mind. See, the world is big. The sky is big. Don't limit yourself to God. No. It could be, come on, we know what's her name? Kiki Foods, is it? Yeah, all these people, they started from somewhere. There's some people that started selling food in their dormitories and now they're global. So don't limit yourself to, oh, this is just a Grodno thing. We are not a lot in this city even. And you're like, oh, okay, it's just set a goal, see it, open your, when you want something, see it becoming something big. Now, if you have that big goal, you can set smaller goals that align with your big goal. So you can say, okay, this week, let me try to make 10 meat pies. Tomorrow, I will make 10 meat pies. That way, it's consistency. You're building it small by small. Eventually, it will grow. It's not starting that is the problem, but consistency is where you get to see results. Um, Also, in setting goals, you have to know the purpose of all of it. Because um, somebody would say when the purpose of something is not known, then abuse is inevitable. So if you don't know the purpose of why you're doing all that, there's nothing to drive you. There's nothing to motivate you to want more. And also in all of that, you need to ask a lot of questions. Um, Fumi said that don't close yourself up. Meet people, make connections, um, ask questions about what it is that you want to do. So let's say you want to make an air conditioner in Grodno. You ask, how is it done? What are the laws? Are we able to do this thing in this city? Who are the people that need it? All this, ask a lot of questions. You can, there's nothing like this, you're asking too much questions. If you don't ask, you won't know. If you're looking for ways to price, when I started making hair, Ayobame called me and she said, "How are you pricing your hairs? How are you, what is your, how much is small knotless? How much is big boho? All those things. No, ask questions. Because if you don't know the market price of something, how would you set your own price on the things? So even prices aside, just general knowledge. You can never have too much knowledge. There's nothing like too much information. So ask a lot of questions, make connections. Those connections will help you along the way. Sometimes it's not all that meets your eye that it is. So there are some things that you might not even know that you need, but because of those connections, they give you informations or they tell you stuff. You also, it's a symbiotic, I mean, two-way something. So they feed you and you feed them as well. Closed mouths, they said, doesn't get fed. So if you're quiet about it, okay, you see a problem that needs fixing and you're just quiet, you're not gonna, it's not going to be fixed. Maybe somebody else that's asked question, somebody else that is interested and seeing what it could possibly be would do it. But you could have done it. There are times where maybe we have the answer to something and then somebody else does it and then we're like, oh, I was just thinking about this. It could have been you. It can still be you. The sky again is big enough for everybody. Because one person starts something doesn't mean you shouldn't start it. Because one person is selling or barbing hair doesn't mean you also can't. Being, nobody is. Fumi said something that sometimes we're scared that somebody might take away from us. But if you're doing it with that mindset, that means you have a wrong mindset towards whatever you're doing. The sky is big enough again. Everybody can live happily. Okay? Also, when you start, it's okay. Sometimes we'll fail, and that's okay. As long as you pick up those pieces and rise again. Don't just stay on the ground, don't stay there. Learn from your mistakes. You will make a mistake. You will make mistakes. And it's good to make them early, like Ayobami said. Make them early, learn from those mistakes, and continue. Do it again. If you make a mistake, you do it again until you get it right. If you don't do it again, you won't learn. Maybe you will know it in your head, but you need to put it into practice. So if you fail, if you fall, you rise up, pick up those pieces, put them together. The new one that you have learned, add it and do it again. Even if you fail again, do it again. Don't give up. Also, one thing that's very, very, very important in entrepreneurship is rest. Prioritize rest. I heard something somewhere that if you don't pick a day to rest, your body will pick the day by itself and you will not like it. Pick a day to rest. Your mind needs rest. Your body, they say body will be firewood. You need to rest. You need to rest. Pick days. You can set it in your calendar. And I know sometimes we get so driven, or because we have goals, we have things we want to do with money, that you just keep going and going and going. Sit down, reiterate, recalculate, and rest. Force yourself to. If you have friends, tell them that, okay, maybe they should force you to rest. Lock your office or collect your instruments or something, but rest. It is very, very, very important because it's so easy to get lost in making money, especially if you're making a lot of money. It's so easy to get lost in it that you forget to rest and you forget to pray. That's another thing. Sometimes if, especially if the work you're doing or whatever you're doing is time consuming, you forget to put in time for God. And you just get so carried away. Maybe in the process of doing what you're doing, you're like, okay, today I'm going to pray. When I get back, I'm going to do my Bible study. But at the end of it, because of how tedious it was, you get so tired and you just go to sleep. You need to, that time management is important. So you put in this time to this time, I'm going to do this work. This time to this time, I will rest. This time to this time, I will put it for God. Make sure that you see those two things, God and rest, is part of your schedule, is part of your timetable. They're very, very important. God shouldn't come last in your plans. He should be number one. Before you even start anything, you're not praying to God because you just want this. We know that God is not some magic wand. You're praying to God because you already have a relationship with Him. You know who this God is. You know what He has done for you. Not even because of what He has done for you. You're praising Him because, and you're worshiping Him because of who He is, not only because of what He can do for you. So God should be first as Christians, even if you want to be an entrepreneur or not, even if you want to start a business or not, God should be first, not last. You don't plan out everything and then remember, oh, okay, God, let me just pray, to cover everything. He should be the first person you consult. Like, okay, God, this is what I've seen. This is my heart desire. How do I go about this? If you know God, you know that He would tell you how to do it, when to do it. It's the way God works will just shock you. What to do. Sometimes self, even if you don't know what you want to do, pray to God and say, okay, God, I want to start up a business, but I don't know what to do. My eyes have God will open your eyes to see things. You open your eyes to see where you could put in your the gifts that He gave you. They're not only just for the gathering. In the course of your entrepreneurship, in the course of you using that gift that God gave you, that passion that God gave you, you can win so many souls to Christ. So don't limit God, don't limit your mind, don't limit your sight. Are we lost? Are we still following? So yes, everybody can be a good entrepreneur. Everybody can be an entrepreneur. There's no good or bad. The only way you'll be a bad entrepreneur if you start and you don't finish, and you also, sorry, I know I'm jumping from one thing to another, but um as Christians also, don't be scared to put yourself out there, advertise yourself. Don't be scared to say, this is what I do. Be confident in yourself. I don't know if we've seen a tribe called Judah. Did you see the way Funke Akindele marketed her movie? For like months, everything she wears, you see a tribe called Judah. If you go to her page from beginning to end, everywhere on Instagram was a tribe called Judah, a tribe called Judah. Carry yourself like that. Carry your markets on top of your head. Because if you don't, nobody will do it for you. Nobody will do it for you. So be proud of what you're doing. Market yourself. Put yourself out there. Because how would the world know about you? If you have that big goal that you're working towards, how would they know about you if you don't put yourself out there? So I will just round up here. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful.
Okay, so I'll try to be fast in whatever I'm going to say so that it doesn't extend. 1 second. Let me person help me, I beg. Okay, so my topic is going to kind of glue everything that, especially what Ayo and Marvelous has said already. So let's take a colonoscopy into this. So we'll be talking about promoting your skills and talent. And when I was speaking, it dawned on me that actually your passions would always or would most of the time would birth your skills. Do you understand? When you have passion for something, it tends to birth the skill you have. So one of the first thing that I wrote here is, and it also relates with what Pastor P said when he came during the
the believers conference, right? Is boldness. That was on. Okay, I think it was on the workers meeting. He said it. It was boldness, and it's the first step you need to take in order to promote yourself. Because if you're not bold and you're just being timid about everything or being shy, it's not going to work. When I was a child, I was always very shy of doing anything, like even this music thing. I would join the singing group because I couldn't play any instrument, so I just wanted to be in that music space. I would join, but it's always difficult for me to sing, or I'll always stay at the back of the choir arrangement. But growing up, thank God I was able to become bold to perform or do anything. So boldness is the first step. And also in being bold, you need to brand yourself or whatever that skill is, you need to brand it up. Like my brother just said before she handed the mic to me, like branding all comes with giving it a name and putting it out there, like everything that comes with branding. And you don't need to be also you don't also need to be shy about it or being timid about it. For example, when we started our band, we didn't have a name to call it. True or false? True. And for some reason, I have no idea why it came to my mind. I called it the leather jacket. As funny as it sounds, as cringy as it sounds, as corny as it sounds, but if you look at the bands that you know today, some of them have very, very funny names. We have the Beatles. I mean, the Beatles, the cockroach, or wherever. Beatles as an insect. You have the Google Dolls, you have the internet, like very, very, very funny names that really don't make any sense. It doesn't have to make sense. Just call it something. And you don't know if it's that thing that you're calling it that sounds so weird is what people will want to accept, is what people will want to ride with. Do you understand? So that is bold. And even our Nigerian band, Cavemen. Do you see how dumb that sounds? So yes, now the High Life group. Yeah, so now, the second thing is also do not expect money immediately. Do not be money driven. Like when I started, I never thought I would make money out of what I'm doing today. It was just something I was doing for fun. Okay, I'm learning how I'm learning how to play an instrument. I'm just vibing. And when we started in Belarus, here we do everything we are doing for free. Like we performing in school, it's for free. We come to church, we perform, it's for free. We NSCG host something, we go there, we perform, it's for free. It's just so money will always come. You don't have to stress about money. Money will always come. All you need to do is to put your mind into it and be consistent, as everyone has said. Now, promoting your skills, the number one tool that you can use to do this is the internet. The internet is a very, very powerful instrument that can be used to do anything. Now, the first thing you need to do is ask questions in real life or the same internet. Now, if there is a wrong way to do something, there's always a right way to do something, right? And promoting your skill to people, there are many people that get it wrong. I too have gotten it wrong in the past. Like you see people say, okay, if you want your video to go far, or if you want your video to go viral, post at a certain time. If you want, or you set some things on your TikTok, or do this or do that. But actually, sometimes these things don't matter. Most of these things don't matter. Like I had to go and research about some of these things. And note, it doesn't mean that if you do all these things right, you follow the textbook guidance, everything they've written, you will actually go viral. Sometimes things can happen like this and like that. So just be ready for anything. Do you understand? Like, don't expect it to work immediately. Or don't you might not even expect it to work at all, but it will work. So one thing you need to know is you need to just make research about how to do all these things. For example, the short form content we make, or anybody you make on Instagram and on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts, how they work is with watch time, not the time you post it or the settings you turn on or this or that. It's simply watch time. Is like if someone sees your video, are they willing to stay and watch it? If they are scrolling, the robot or the algorithm is not going to push the video out anymore. Do you understand? So you need to know about some of these little things that would help you to promote your skills like that. You know. Then what? Yeah, and also you have to be open and being outspoken about what you do. So, for example, I would say if you're doing something and you're just keeping it to yourself, or I know some people will like private their Instagram, only their friends know about what they are doing. My dear, sorry to break it to you, you're not going to go anywhere. Public that Instagram account, public that TikTok account. Show everybody what you are doing. Stop hiding it. Do you understand? Like it's funny to me why people will make their this thing private and you're expecting you to get to blow somehow. Like make it public. Talk about it. Tell people about it. See, I'm not shy of talking about this music thing I'm doing. Even if they say maybe some people might be thinking, is it only music this boy knows? Is it only music is in his head every time? Why would I say carry your market on your head? I'm carrying my music on top of my head. I'm moving it, taking it everywhere I go. Sometimes I've even recently I've gotten to the point where I'm messaging restaurants and venues now. If they don't want to answer, let them not answer. If they answer, let them answer. One will surely work. Am I right? I've sent messages to some venues. See, we play instrument, we've played here, we've played there, we played there. We would like to also play in your venue. Some have not opened my message, but they will see it one day. It's there. You understand? So do not be shy. Just push yourself out there, carry your market on your head, do the necessary things, and it will work. It will work. I mean, even the few places we've played at right now, it's from something they found us. Like if we were not taking our stuffs out there, they wouldn't have seen us. As little as performing in our school. I mean, one of the shows we had this year during the semester was because Nadeja, God bless that woman herself, they will come and ask and she'll recommend us to them, and we went to perform for them in the restaurant for 2 days, and the people there really liked it. And of course you make relationships. It's also good to learn how to make relationships in wherever thing you're doing, being an entrepreneur or anything. You have to learn how to have human relationships too. So yeah. And that thing I Dr. Fumi said was opportunities need to meet you prepared. Everything I've been doing since 2019 when I picked up the guitar has been preparing for, even if it's not this moment, also for the future. Because if I didn't do that, I don't think I would have anything else that was going for me because I couldn't sing well. I tried my best. I couldn't sing well. I just wanted to be in the music space, but it wasn't working. I learned other instruments in school. I learned violin, but it's gone. I learned recorder, a useless instrument. And the one time I was supposed to learn how to play the guitar, something happened and I wasn't able to do it. But finally, I got my way around. Even my parents were like, "Why are you buying this thing? You're going to Belarus now. How are you going to carry this instrument and enter the aeroplane?" Blah, 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 blah. My mom was so angry. Oh, I just carry because I was excited when I bought it. And the fact is that I bought this with my money. You understand? Like I bought it with my money, and it was so funny to me why she was angry. But I said, okay, I went to my room, same internet, I opened YouTube, I sat down, okay, even before that, even before I bought it, what I was doing was I would buy night plan, MTN, 50 naira, 200 MB, I mean 250 MB from 12 midnight till 5 a.m., I be 6 a.m. And I will be searching guitar tutorial for beginners. I'll be watching. And there's this thing that was stirring up in me. See, sometimes you don't really need anyone to tell you something. Like sometimes curiosity can birth your skills. Like, oh, how do they edit this kind of thing? How does a barber do this? Or how does a hairdresser do this? And from there, that's how it starts. Because that's how my own started. I just searched, okay, how to play the guitar or something. And I was watching. The next week I had the money and went to go and buy the instrument. And then I kept doing that. And even when I was going to Abuja from Port Harcourt, I took my instrument to Abuja when I was going to go and register for documentations to come to Belarus. I took it there. They were like, "Why are you carrying guitar inside the aeroplane?" I said, "I will carry it." They talked their own. I went there. I was preparing for the embassy interview and I was still practicing my thing. I came here, I met Daddy Bliss. God bless him too, and he put me through. Sometimes I will come here to play with the band, but I'll be playing nonsense. Sometimes like David will do me like this, or Prince will do me like this. Bring it down, bring it down, bring it down. But you see, all these things are part of the training. All these things are part of the training. There's time to make mistakes. There's time to, just it's just funny. So, and everything from that moment till today was just to prepare me for the opportunities that are waiting for me and the opportunities that I will still have in the future by God's grace. So you need to be prepared, and also don't always wait for opportunities to come and meet you. Go and find them. That email I'm sending, I'm finding the opportunity. I'm not just sitting down and be waiting. Oh, somebody will send me a message. Yeah, sometimes that happens. They will send you, oh, come and do this, come and do that. But you to push yourself there, ask, do you want me to come and do this? If they don't answer, no problem. Just keep pushing, and Yeah, it's all about that. If you want to know more about how to do the Instagram thing and TikTok thing, you can ask me privately because I don't have time to talk about it. But there's a lot of things that go into it, And the last thing is being consistent. If you are posting today and in the next 1 week nobody sees you, the algorithm, the robot will forget about you. But if you are always there showing up every day, they will keep pushing your videos more and more and until one day they find the right audience, the right group of audience, and they push it to them more. So you have to be consistent, show up to work every day. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, 10 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Ayo. Thank you for coming.
Hmm?
Thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Robert. Hope you guys were blessed by this. I hope you guys learned something as well. I hope you guys also wrote. Even if you didn't write it, once in your head, write it when you remember. So thank you guys all. I was blessed by everything you all said. And I hope we'll not just be hearers, but also practice what they said. Yeah. So I'm done for today. I just want us, before we take our benediction, I just want us to give a round of applause for them again. Yeah, please, what's your offering? And then, as I lead that, please, our benediction, let's take it. All right, can we all stand up and take it together?